Start that again.
Why? You got just now hit live?
Whatever, bro. We're live, baby.
Okay, now we're live. Episode 68. GhettoRig, episode 68.
Good, though. It was good in the recording.
It wouldn't be GhettoRig, would
It
it?
was
Now.
good in the recording. It was good in the
shit.
recording.
Welcome back, guys. How y'all doing today? Another episode for y'all. We got some topics to start out today. We'll get into that second. How you doing, brother? What'd you do today?
It's good, man. I'm actually finally, because that Thursday that you guys saw me here, I was out of it completely. Like,
Yeah, we know.
I
We
was
know.
completely out of it
Yeah, we
because of
can
the
tell.
jet lag and everything, right? Even the video, you can say, but I'm finally back to normal.
I could tell when I was making the clips. I was like, bro, that man looks like either tired or drugged up. Like, you could tell, like, he
I
was
was
not
out
in
of it, bro.
Yeah.
It's in another dimension. So I'm back. I look like a fucking construction worker on the side
Yeah,
of the
you
road
are
picking
orange
trash.
and shit.
Huh?
You ready? Like, you're not trying to get hit by any
You
car.
trying-
Hell no, I'm
Are
picking
you-
trash on the side of the road for serving
Are
my
you trying to
tent.
stop traffic for the kids or something?
Yeah, traffic cone. Call me traffic cone. Hashtag, But yeah, I'm doing good. Been working on the house a little bit, coming off of the jet lag, so that's finally all done. I'm all acclimated at this point, which is really good. I mean, it's been a week, right? Technically, so it's up there.
So, I was listening to this pod the other day. I won't go into it, but they basically are talking about strong men versus bears. You think
Okay.
you think like something like someone like the Mountain or like Eddie Hall, one of those big huge dudes, has a chance of against any kind of bear?
A young bear, maybe yes.
But like we're talking like weight ratio.
You remove the claws and remove the teeth.
Well,
Well,
then-
might have a chance.
Then what's the bear gonna do? Just smother you if you got no claws and teeth?
I mean, if they got no claws and teeth, but they're still strong as shit. I mean, you're looking at a 400-500 pound bear.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean?
Or more. Even
It could
more,
just
yeah.
like suffocate you. Like it could pull a Elon
Well, you
on
think
Zuckerberg.
one of those guys
you know
will ever
what I
have a
mean?
chance?
If
don't think so.
the bear didn't have claws and teeth, maybe. But if the bear has claws and teeth, bro, those things are like.
Even the teenage bear, I think you're fucked.
Oh yeah, you
Unless you're talking about a cub here, something
even a
that's...
cub will.
No, I think like unless it would have to be less than 150 pounds.
Well, think about it. Humans are probably well no, there's besides some birds and like some rats and shit. But there's a gestation period for humans. Like, we can't do shit for the first 2 to 3 years of our lives. You know what I mean? And bears come out and they're pretty much like ready to eat and like
I heard someone talking about that the other day. How it's weird how humans are one of the only animals that require so much care and like coddling when they're babies, or else they'll have literally they won't survive.
Yeah, the only reason we have fucking survived is because we've learned to lift our arms above our head, which means we can throw projectiles. Our brains are big enough where we can actually and we're
Problem solving.
and another thing is we're able to communicate with each other in a way and to form groups and shit and to attack. Like, that's literally the only reason. Otherwise, if you look at it in the hierarchy of nature, we're probably we're not even close to being top 10 of apex.
So I heard you mention Elon or Mark, one of the two, just now. Mark called him out, saying he's bullshitting. He's not serious. I'm moving on. I'm gonna look for people I'm gonna look to compete with people who are serious about the sport. He said.
Well, I don't know if this is true. I read something that apparently Musk talked to Italy. They wanted to do like a whole Rome thing and televise the shit and then give the money to veterans and stuff like that. But I mean, what is Zuckerberg expecting? Like, the competition happening right now?
I don't know. We'll see. This is the thing, right? When I first heard about it, I was pretty, not psyched, but I was kind of like, oh, interested. But the more I think about it, you think about, these guys have a little training. Maybe Mark, maybe not a little, maybe a decent amount or whatever. But at the end of the day, they're not like fighters.
No, it's gonna be
It's not
a
gonna
boring
be,
ass fight,
It's not gonna
bro.
be an entertaining fight
At all.
What I think,
Yeah.
So
And at the end of the day, like, how much time are they really going to put into that?
Right.
Not much.
Right.
Because they have a lot of shit going on.
Well, I mean, if anything, Zuckerberg is dedicating some time to it. It's nothing like a
Zuckerberg
fight
definitely
camp,
has
but
the upper hand there for sure. I mean, he's
Yeah.
ready for the fight. He's already competed in tournaments, but Elon,
Yeah, Elon on the other hand, right? Like, doesn't seem to be taking it serious whatsoever, except for training with Friedman
Yeah, he did with Lex.
GSP, I think.
Yeah,
But then he got denied to train with other people. Apparently, he was reaching out to train with someone else. I forgot who it was, and they were like, "Oh,
Khabib.
Khabib." Yeah, I heard that he reached out to Khabib, and Khabib said, "No, I'm not going to train you."
Yeah.
Elon is a marketing genius, though. Like, he made all this fuzz to maybe potentially not really fight Zuck, just to get traction into his new rebranded X. That's genius.
Well, I mean, is he really getting traction though into rebranding X? He fired 80%
At least they're
of the...
talking about him.
I
and
mean, there's
people
definitely
know
more.
who he
He's
is.
definitely in people's mouth a little more, especially into the sports community.
Well, Zuckerberg just released that new, like, the counter to X. It's like channels. They could create a channel, and it's kind of like Twitter.
They're trying to mess with it again. I thought they crashed with Threads. I thought Threads didn't do well, so like they're trying again to mess.
Yeah,
with
so
X?
you can do that. You can do that here. You can like open up a channel or whatever. So here, so a bunch of people like there's some way to do this. This like you go at here Threads. Threads is there still.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so they can. It's the Threads thing.
Oh,
so.
okay. Same.
But
thing, right?
here's the thing: once you connect your account to Threads, there's like some sort of a thing where you cannot bring. Like if you lose Threads, you cannot have Instagram anymore. Like they're all connected to each other. So
yeah,
like that's why I haven't done it. And it's basically like you just messaging and a bunch of people liking your messages and stuff. That's it.
They confirmed that Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler will be fighting in December apparently. Yeah, for the 296 card, which will be the one right after Stipe.
At 155.
I think it's 170.
At 170, they're fighting at 170.
I think they're doing welterweight, which I don't know. They neither of them I think have a track record at welterweight, so we'll see.
Can Izzy fight Volkanovski?
No.
That's a very different weight. Like that's like over 4 weight classes.
Volkanovski doesn't even walk in Izzy's weight. Like Volkanovski walks around at about 170, maybe 175, and Izzy fights at 185, which means that he's on a fight day. He's probably close to 200. Yeah, he's probably walking around 210.
Yeah, so there's a pretty big discrepancy in height, length, weight, everything.
The length would be.
Yeah.
Although I do think Volkanovski could fuck him up potentially.
I don't think so. It's kind of like the same thing. You saw Sean O'Malley said he would get TKO'd first round by Izzy. Like if they're talking to him, like asking him, "Oh, if you fought Israel, what would happen?" But he's like, "I'd get TKO'd first round." Like he admitted it. Like,
well, yeah, O'Malley fights at 140. Like
135 to 145 for Volk. I mean, not really the craziest difference.
Yeah, but Sean O'Malley is lanky and skinny. He doesn't have any weight behind him. Like he doesn't have any muscle weight. Volkanovski, don't forget, Volkanovski used to go head to head with these guys in rugby.
I get it, but used to be that way. And also there's like we talked about, there's a big height discrepancy there. So that's going to play a big part.
But what I'm saying, if anything, Volkanovski would have a chance.
I don't think so.
I don't know, man. I just want to see Izzy
I know,
because
he looks
out.
like
I don't
you.
like Izzy at all.
Oh, because you don't like Izzy. Wow.
Like
okay.
Izzy
Apparently they did make the fight between him and Sean Strickland. That fight is made for October, I think it is.
They did?
They made it. Yeah.
So Sean Strickland going to go for the first place?
Against Israel, yeah. He's going to fight against Israel Adesanya, yeah.
Huh. Interesting. That's interesting.
So
what about Duplessis? What is he going to do?
So
Duplessis is going to fight the winner?
I actually saw Israel Adesanya's coach was saying, get back in line now. Just because you got your chance now doesn't mean that when this is done, you got a chance again. No, like the UFC doesn't work that way. You think you secured your chance, but you passed it up. So who knows who will make it next.
What do you mean you passed it up?
Because they tried to get Dreykus first for Sydney, October. And Dreykus turned it down. And that's why they took Sean.
3 months. Like, he needs to get ready.
So, don't matter. Some people would have took most people would have took the fight.
That's
I guess there's
bullshit.
I mean, it's not really. I don't think so. I don't think that's bullshit.
Well, not everybody's Burns.
I don't.
You know what I'm saying?
But I don't think he rightfully should get the title shot right away just because he turned it down. He should have took it. I get it. If there's an injury and stuff, I get it. But that tough luck. I'm sorry because that's not how that works. Just because you turned it down, then someone else takes the title shot. Oh, you're automatically still next? No. I could see them arguing after what Jared Cannonier did to Vittori, with that fucking performance you put on Vittori, I'd argue they might put Cannonier next again, right? But
Yeah. I don't know, man. That's too
so
close, man.
I don't
He
know.
just fought not even a month ago, and they're saying, okay, that now there's a title fight. Give him at least 3 months to go through the camp. Like
Well, they are gonna give him 3 months. It was Dricus du Plessis fought like about a month ago, right?
Yeah, in October. Yeah, so give him at least some time to get
There you go.
To
He has
get-
time. I think there's an
to
injury
get
there.
ready for.
I think there's an injury there, so he can't fight. You know, so that's like I said, that's tough luck. Let's see here.
Well, Donnie's also getting indicted, boys, and charged with RICO.
Rico
think
with
about
Rico,
that?
he's getting charged with Rico.
Yep, in
Oh, shit,
Georgia
he's-
by the same what's it called? I think district attorney that indicted
3.5 months,
Young
bro,
Thug.
I'm gonna give him. That's good enough.
in his RICO case.
Say,
Damn, Rico
so-
Rico cases are bro. They're going back. Like, what is it
Yeah,
about?
I believe they have about 17 people.
oh, you're talking about the
This
Young
Rico?
Thug and
No,
why
Donnie.
we're talking about Donnie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Donnie got indicted in Georgia.
Oh, I saw that. Apparently, he has to turn him. Alex was telling me today that he has to turn himself in within like the next week or something like that to Georgia,
Yep.
or else they'll go looking for him.
Yep, by the same.
It'll go looking for him. Like, they don't know where he is.
Well, they'll go
Fuck.
arrest him.
Yeah.
But I also had to say about the UFC.
Yeah.
For Donnie. So McGregor and Chandler, right?
Yeah.
So, did you see the clip of the last Tough Challenge that they just premiered, where they got into the ice baths and did the trivia and stuff?
Yeah. I saw a little bit of it. I didn't watch the whole thing.
So I watched the whole thing, but the clip was fine, right? Like if you just watch what they put out, it looks fine. But apparently they were in there for about 30 minutes, bro. And Dana White was pissed. He said like that was risk to their health and stuff
for
like
sure.
that. So he was super mad at their production, how this was all put together, because those guys spent way too long in that water.
Yeah.
And then also he's getting hit with using monopolistic practices. The UFC is getting sued by
who?
Bellator and I think another organization or promotion.
K1 for monopolizing everything.
Yeah. I have a screenshot here. Let me see. So they're getting sued. Yeah. Let me see. I have it here.
The cornering the market.
Yeah. So for unfair monopolistic practices.
Yeah.
One
cornering the
thing,
market.
so Bellator and PFL
Mhm.
would be the first to. One would think that the Bellator PFL, but it's actually just two guys that formerly worked for these companies. It looks like. Oh, it's a group of athletes. It wasn't a promotion. They're saying that you would think it would be a promotion that
Yeah.
would try and file this, but it's
No,
actually a
just
group of athletes that are filing a class action lawsuit against the UFC.
Class action, all it is class action is like basically, it's a payout, right? Like
The promotion, they're saying that they use the practices affected promotions like Pride, Strikeforce, WFA, and WEC, which I don't know those other two, WFA and WEC. I thought they bought Strikeforce and everything. I mean, that sounds a little monopoly.
well, if they're buying them out, then yeah. But is he buying them out? Because you still have K1, you still have
I don't know.
you still have
One
the
one is big, man. One is
you still
growing
have
big.
one. You still
with
have
someone like
Bellator, like
with someone like Demetrius Johnson, which is another topic I want to talk about today. But yeah, with someone like Demetrius Johnson, and they got Musumeci, Rod Tang, Super Lek, like big ass fighters. Then like Bellator has right now they have. He just fought again for the light heavyweight championship, or he's fighting soon. Yoel Romero. Like these guys have big fighters. It's like Joe Rogan was talking about the other day. Like there's fighters in these leagues that would of course beat UFC fighters, but like where do you look at the most concentration of best fighters is the UFC, of course.
yeah, because the UFC is known for being, the like that's the ultimate like I'm the UFC champion.
The guy Cedric Doumbé, which I talked to you about him a while ago, the kickboxer, really good kickboxer. He was on Joe Rogan's podcast talking about how, now that I've done kickboxing championship, blah blah, I want to make my move to UFC. when he tried making his move to UFC, he ended up signing with PFL, or I think another one of these, like One or something like that, because he said like, it's at the end of the day, I'm getting paid a lot, so and UFC might be attainable one day, but that's of course the top goal still.
Yeah.
Even though I'm at this other place, like number one goal is that UFC championship.
Yeah, that is the most known. Like if that's what Dana is paying them, that's fine. But that's what the UFC is known for.
And so Bradley Martin, the big 265-pound buff dude. He does like a lot of videos with Nelk. He has his podcast Raw Talk. Yeah. So he's had like the clips going famous with him and Devin Haney and Nate Diaz and Brendan Schaub talking about like, oh, you think you can beat me in a fight? This and that in a street fight. He started off with Devin Haney. That clip was really big. Then he did it to Nate Diaz, and then jokingly did it with Brendan, right? But
Moreno.
No, Brendan Schaub, the old UFC fighter, and because apparently they're pretty good friends or whatever. But anyways, they are talking about setting up a grappling jiu-jitsu match between him and Mighty Mouse. Because he keeps saying that he could beat all these professional fighters, even though because they're small and because he's 265 pounds.
Yeah, okay.
He could beat these guys. So, like for example, with Devin Haney, apparently he was serious. Like he really thought that he could like basically just pick up Devin and slam him, which in a street fight is possible, but at the same time you got to get past this professional boxer's main defense, which is his hands, and that's the first thing you're gonna get touched with, right? So who knows? Also, I mean, the guy's 150 pounds, right? Probably walking around 155 versus his 265, 6 foot something. Who knows, right? Like, how hard could this guy really hit this 265 pounder? At the same time, this 265 pounder is never used to getting hit. So, he was apparently serious that he could beat Devin Haney in a street fight in this. And then apparently when he did it to Nate Diaz, he was joking because he understands Nate Diaz is a lot bigger than Devin Haney and he's got the.
He understands that Ned Diaz got the fucking temper. He's about to take it right in the mouth and not even wait for that boxing match.
It's funny. When he was talking to Nate Diaz about the situation, he was like, "Yeah, you grab a hold of Devin Haney, and you probably get him. You grab a hold of me, I'll kill you." Because he understands at the same time. He did it jokingly because he knows Nate Diaz not only has hands, but he's got the jiu-jitsu and grappling skills, and he's bigger, like I said, than Devin.
Bro. What do you think about that whole Nate Diaz and Jake Paul fight?
I don't know. I watched that fight and just looked like an old fighter against a
Diaz,
guy.
you mean?
Yeah, it looked like someone that I don't know. I like Diaz a lot, but it didn't look like it was him all the way in that cage. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't really all the way in it, in a sense. That's what it looked like to me.
He was out there for a payday, you think?
Maybe. I also have to say this much from what their actual skill size, like skill set wise. That's what I mean. I said it. We were outside watching the fight, and I was like, I'm right now. All I'm seeing is someone who's too big, too strong, too fast, and too young for Nate Diaz.
Yeah,
that's what it looked like from the first round.
Because they're not doing any weight categories. Because Jake Paul is probably
the they're 185. Right? 185.
They're both 185.
I think so. Yeah.
But I don't follow any of that shit.
I think so. I think they fought both at 185, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, if the Jake Paul is such a good fighter, why don't they actually fight fighters that are active? You know what I mean?
I agree.
I mean, he's smart. I think Nate Diaz getting paid.
He's been smoking a little bit too much, and he's been partying a little bit too much.
Smoking too much and partying too much, but he's been always smoking. You know what I mean? I think it was just a payday
for. When you go against somebody that young who's actually been training.
Yeah, they both made 185.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just a payday for him. He didn't even give a shit how he performs. Like, you know what I mean? Like, whether wins or not.
They keep asking him about Conor, and they're like, "Yeah, we got to run it back one day."
Him and Conor?
Yeah.
That's gonna be his retirement money right there.
I think he already made his retirement money.
Yeah, I think so.
Apparently, he made like 10 or 20 million. I think it was in this fight, more than he's made in his whole entire UFC career. It was, I think.
I believe so. Yeah.
With
Jake Paul. Yeah.
If he's smart, on $10 to $20 million, you can like. I'm not saying you're flying everywhere private, but with $10 to $20 million, you can live a very, very comfortable life, like extremely comfortable life. You know what I mean? This is not a financial advice, but even at like 2 to 3% on a $10 million, bro.
Yeah.
You're living a very, very comfortable life.
Yep.
So.
If
Yeah, it's like 20 million, I think.
If you
Arthur.
invest that money correctly, that's you don't ever have to do anything in your life.
That's what I'm saying. It's very conservatively 2 to 3% interest rate that you will be receiving on that money. You're looking at 300. Like if it's 20 million, then you're looking at 600,000 at 3%. 600,000 a year. That's almost what 50 grand a month. You're living a very comfortable life without touching the 10 million.
Life.
Without even touching the 10 million. You know what I mean? Super comfortable life. So,
you know, a lot of people are complaining that they feel poor earning $175,000 a year.
Who said that?
They feel poor.
Who said that?
According to some polls I saw.
Who needs to get smacked across their face?
$175,000, that's top 10% of the United States earning is $175,000 a year.
Yeah.
Top 10% of the United States makes that. Now, there was this thing I watched, this Instagram reel, and this guy pretty much did a calculation of what it would cost for you, for a family, wife and a husband with 2 children and a dog, with a couple of vacations a year, white picket fence, couple of cars, kids going to decent school, how much it would cost. It would cost $130,000, a little over $130,000 for 4 people to have a comfortable life, taking a couple of vacations, nothing extravagant, right? So at $170,000, when they say they feel poor, it depends of how much they're paying in taxes, right? Like if you're making $170,000 and you're paying 30% in your taxes, that's a lot of fucking money you're paying in taxes. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then if you're investing that $175,000, let's say you're investing at maximum onto your 401k, which is 22%. I mean $22,000. So you take out $22,000, you're down to $150. Then you're investing, let's say, into a Roth IRA, $5,500, right? So now you're down to $150,000, right? And then let's say you also have now at that $150,000, you're probably making way too much, so you can't even go into 401k and things like that. So you gotta pay a bunch in taxes. So you're probably coming home with like, instead of coming home with like 15k a month, you're coming home with like 10,000, 9,000.
Still a lot in taxes.
That's $6,000 in taxes.
It's still a lot of money, though.
It is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. It is a lot of money. But then your mortgage, say, right now with interest rates, your mortgage is probably $2,000 to $3,000.
Yes.
Say if you're just buying a house.
Yes.
Your car payment is going to be close to probably $1,000.
No. What do you mean $1,000? What are you driving?
I mean, you're going to drive a nicer car at $100,000, right? Like,
yeah, but you don't have to spend $1,000 a month on your car.
Fine. What's a car you can get that is going to cost you $500 a month?
$700 maybe.
Let's say $700-800. You can get a nice car.
So it's okay, $700-800. So $700-800. The $700-800.
He's like making fucking numbers hard on me, man. Fuck you.
No. It's $700-800. So that's 20%. 800 divided by 0.2. What is it going to give us? 800 divided by 0.2. It's going to give us $40,000. So that's a $40,000 car, right? Like approximately a $40,000 car. What would be a $40,000 car you would be driving? A fucking Honda Accord costs more than $40,000.
Bro, you telling me that people are paying $800 a month for a Honda Accord? Not right now. Not anymore. No, that's not how that shit costs.
I'm telling you, if the car is $800, if the car is $40,000.
How many years you put?
So, in 5 years, you're looking at usually at. So you're looking at about.
You're rich. You're leasing.
$20 per thousand.
You're making $100K a year. You're probably leasing anyways, bro. For $700-800, you can get yourself a nice car. Something decent.
I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. At $800, you're looking at Honda Accord.
No, bro. No way. No way.
At 5 years, yeah, you're looking at a Honda Accord, bro. I'm telling you.
Get something better.
And if you lease in it, okay, so let's say $600 at a lease, and then the car is not even yours.
Well, a lot of things aren't yours.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say basically is that at $170,000, yes, like, are you living comfortably? Yes. Are you paying your mortgage? Yes. Do you have a car? Yes. But at the end of the day, $170,000 is not as much as you think it is. Like, it seems a lot until you're there. Once you're there, you're like, This ain't shit.
I definitely think that if you're making 170K a year and you manage your money correctly, you can live very
Oh
comfortably.
yeah. Oh,
Very
obviously,
comfortably. Very comfortably.
Yeah, like you gotta live below your means, right? So if you get $170,000 a year and you're living only off of 60 and you're squirreling away, whatever is left after the taxes, then fine.
Eddie, Nat said the volume's a bit low. Should I increase it on OBS or?
Yeah, just go ahead and increase it on OBS.
Nat, let us know how's the volume now.
Just put it to like 8. It should be like 5. So I don't know.
Should be good.
From where? No. Okay.
So yeah, as I'm saying, is $170,000. It is a very attainable number, though. 1 out of 10 people you ever meet in your life, 1 out of 10 people that you meet in your life, is gonna make that. You know what I mean? So that's pretty attainable. Being in top 10%. What do you think is the top 1%? What do they make? Top 1%.
If you're saying top 10% is at 175, that's the number.
170, 175. Yeah.
Top 1% is probably around the $250,000.
It's a little bit more than that. $250,000 is about top 2 to 3%, and top 1% is about 600,000. 0.1% is at 3.5 million.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's 0.1%. So like we have 340 million people living in the United States. So say 340,000 people are making that money.
When you put it in that term, it sounds like a lot of people, huh?
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you think about it, like 10% of the United States makes $175,000. There are 360 million people that live in the United States, which means that 36 million people are making that kind of money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
Sounds like a lot of people, but when you put it in the grand scheme of things in comparison to the others, it's not.
Look,
right?
every 10th person. Every 10th person, like you meet, every 10th person you meet, you can guarantee they're making 170 or more. Like statistically, that's what you're gonna run into.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and to achieve that is not that hard. What is Natalie saying?
Oh, so when if we turn our heads away from the mic, it gets quiet. Okay, so we just gotta be a little better on our mic etiquette. Oh shit.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know, man. I think you can make $170,000. Do I think that you're poor as hell? Absolutely not. You're an idiot if you think you're poor. But
can you believe that Dave Portnoy, you know the guy who started Barstool?
Yeah, Barstool.
He bought it back from an entertainment company for $1. Made some crazy deal or whatever. Yeah. So he's now the owner of Barstool again. So he had sold it a few years back, I think it was, or 5 or something like that. And he is now the owner. Apparently, but the deal also has that if he sells it ever, that company will receive half of the profit, or half of the money.
What?
I don't know. I think maybe he also probably had some deals on making it on. I think he relinquished their stock back. Maybe I think that was part of it as well. But yeah, I'll pull the whole article.
Because Portnoy got canceled big time, and I think that was part of him selling out.
Let's see. I have it here. So Dave Portnoy bought back Barstool for $1. This is This is an article I saw. Maybe this thing is all just bullshit. Who knows? So over the past 3 years, Penn Entertainment has paid $550 million to own Barstool. But on August 8th, ESPN signed a licensing deal with Penn, where Penn is paying over $1.5 billion over 10 years. But that's not the crazy part. As a part of the deal, Penn is also selling Barstool Sports back to its founder, Dave Portnoy, for $1.
Oh, so he's not going to get paid anymore. Yeah, so this is what happened. This is what Dave Portnoy got canceled for. Barstool Sports founder Dave Portnoy explains breakup with Penn. We got denied gambling license because of me, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so, wait. What the fuck is this? All right, so this is what happened. In November 2021, an article published by Insider cited 3 women who said they had sex with Portnoy and that the encounters turned into frightening and humiliating experience that have taken a toll on their mental health. This is what he got canceled for.
And that fucked up their gambling deal that they tried to make with Penn and stuff.
What's that?
You said it fucked up a gambling deal they tried to make with Penn.
So that gambling deal was something completely different. This is like Dave Portnoy, now 100% owner of Barstool Sports, after former partner Penn Entertainment sold it back to him. Concurrent with Penn's major 10-year sports betting deal with ESPN, has admitted that Barstool's isn't a good fit in the gambling industry. We underestimated just how tough it is for myself and Barstool to operate in a regulated world where gambling regulators, the New York Times, and Business Insider hit pieces, fucking with the stock prices every time.
Penn is trying to make a deal with ESPN. ESPN said, if you have Barstool under your name, we're not making that deal. That's basically what it seems like, right? Yeah. And so what Penn did was say, okay, we can't have Barstool anymore.
We got denied gambling licenses because of me. Your name, Portnoy said. So the regulated industry is probably not the best place for Barstool Sports and the type of content we make. Now the Barstool is no longer part of Penn. Yeah, so there you go.
For Miggy and the Clips. To sum it up, Dave Portnoy has received Barstool Sports back for just $1.
I was listening.
The reason, for the clip anyways. For the reason was that Penn Entertainment, which is the company that Dave had sold Barstool to, was trying to make a gambling deal with sports and stuff with ESPN. Because of Barstool, they couldn't make the deal, so they had to get rid of it. And just literally Barstool being under their name, I guess, what seems this deal wouldn't be made. So they sold it back to Portnoy for $1.
Yeah. Well, that's
$1, huh?
Yeah, $1. Like,
but
I still don't see how much money is Penn gonna make off this deal that they were like, yeah, we'll get rid of Barstool completely. Like, fuck, that had to be a big deal. And they have the implication of like if he ever sells it, they make half right back. But he said he'll never sell it again.
Well, he won't be able to sell it because Barstool is pretty much like tanking. Barstool is not doing shit anymore.
I don't think so.
Yeah, bro.
They still come up on my algorithm pretty often.
Yeah, they do. But then the whole reason why David Portnoy was into that whole cryptocurrency, like buying the Safe Moon bullshit. I think he was into the Safe Moon and things like that, or XRP. One of those is because they paid him pretty much to promote it. So he's obviously wasn't making the money. Like otherwise, why would he get into that scam?
Got you.
But then a bunch of people got into the scam. So
a lot of people got into the crypto and NFT scams and stuff like that. A lot of people. It was kind of
quick money grab,
and I'm surprised the amount of high status and high profile people that were okay getting into this.
Yeah, because they didn't realize they're getting into a scam, right? Or it was just made to be a scam, or maybe it wasn't a scam to begin with.
I had a random text message today talking about join Bit something for Bitcoin. I'm like, wait, this shit's still a thing.
Where did it come in?
Just a text message. It's probably a scam.
Get a little political, not really, but we'll see. The Brooklyn Public Library has announced that any teenager in America is now eligible for a Brooklyn Public Library card. Teens can sign out ebooks and audiobooks from wherever they live. The move is designed to combat censorship with some titles listed as always available.
Huh?
Within America, they're talking about they're trying to combat censorship by giving everyone access to this library for free. Ebooks and everything online. So I guess if you're a California resident, you can go in through the Brooklyn Library and look at any book for free.
Let me add a little bit more to that. Massachusetts now offers free lunch to other students in their schools.
Massachusetts?
Yeah.
That's something that I thought was always crazy even as a kid. When you grow up and you hear that public school is free, but when you go, the food you have to pay for.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, I had to pay for food in Lithuania.
No, I get it. I do get the concept, but at the same time, it just always like hit me a little weird that like, oh, it's supposed to be so free, but then like, oh, I gotta buy all like a shit ton of materials because the teacher gets $1.40 per student, and then like I gotta pay for this fucking cold ass peanut butter and jelly or sloppy Joe, whatever. Yeah. Like,
lucky enough, I was poor and I didn't have to pay for it.
Yeah, during certain years, I remember to file it and lie a little bit.
It wasn't too,
Get my
it
free
wasn't
lunch.
too hard to get it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean the free lunch thing is not hard to get. I remember I even had a teacher tell me like, "Oh, you just put this and this."
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Like I would understand it, but from my understanding, I never had to eat lunch in the United States in schools in high school. But
Dude,
when I
those
understand,
Pop-Tarts in the morning were the best thing ever.
yeah, but are they the healthiest fucking thing for you? Because like
Doesn't
they're
matter, as long
I've
as
seen
it's good.
pictures
When
on
you-
internet from like Japan, from Switzerland, and like they're comparing their lunch to
Jay,
our lunch.
Jay, I have a question for you. When you
Yeah.
go to a restaurant, do you order a steak or a salad?
Yeah, but you're not getting
Yeah,
steak
that's
for
what I
lunch
thought.
here
That's
in
what I
schools
thought.
either. Bro, you are not getting steak for lunch
Look.
here either. You're probably getting some fucking
From-
mashed potatoes and pizza.
From what I've seen, the U.S. has some of the shittiest lunch food there is across
what I'm
the
saying,
entire
like-
world. Even comparing to some places you would consider third world countries, like the quality of food. And I mean, that's for school.
It's
That's
not
just
the
crazy.
best, but if you're a fat ass, you'll eat it.
I mean,
Well, no,
if you're
obviously.
hungry, you'll eat it. But like, it's still shit. It's
Dude,
still
I
dog
can't say
shit.
that, dude. I was the fat ass that was eating them, and I look.
Wait,
The-
so what
the
was your
beef-
ready?
The teriyaki beef nuggets.
Yo, them
Mwah, with
shits
the
were
rice.
trash.
Fire.
That
Me-
rice was
the-
horrible.
The Mexican pizza, fire.
Okay, that's tolerable.
Delicious.
I can remember what that tastes like.
The popcorn chicken nuggets. Sometimes they were good. Sometimes they were.
Yeah, because sometimes they were fucking cold.
They're
Or
not
soggy.
even cooked.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
shit.
regular pizzas. Those were garbage.
The regular pizza was garbage. The Mexican pizza, you're right, was pretty good actually. Yeah, everything else was trash though, bro. Or actually, you know what wasn't that bad? They made like a shredded. I don't even remember if it was pork or beef, but it was like a shredded meat sandwich. It wasn't ground; it was shredded, so it was actually pretty good.
Like a vieja ropa, something
Yeah,
like that.
like ropa vieja or pulled
Alex
pork.
said it. Cheese sticks.
Nah,
sticks
those
are
cheese
good.
sticks were trash.
What?
Those cheese sticks
Dude,
were
the
so
cheese stick
fucking
with the
trash.
marinara sauce?
Yeah, that shit was so fucking
no,
trash.
dude. Those were
No,
good.
no,
Those
no,
were
no.
fire.
If you remember, if you went to Tyrone Middle, I've heard some other schools didn't have this. But at Tyrone Middle, you remember if you paid like 50 cents, you get the Snickerdoodle cookies? That shit was fire. Those are the best Snickerdoodle cookies ever. I don't care what anybody says.
I don't know about the Snickerdoodle cookies. But
You used to get a chocolate chip?
yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. You're not a Snickerdoodle guy?
I don't know. That just sounded.
Bro,
weird.
it's just a cookie with cinnamon and sugar, bro. Like, it sounds weird, but it's a basic bitch. It's a basic bitch.
Look,
Bro,
man,
I'm
I
looking
was
up-
not looking to get bullied at that grade. I was the kid who tucked in his shirt, had his belt on. You know.
You were
It
looking
was-
to get bullied.
It was rough. Yeah, I was looking to get bullied, and I was not adding another reason to get bullied. That's what I'm trying to say.
Ah, shit.
I'm
And
looking up high
Cam,
school lunch
which we
around the
wanna have
world
on.
just to see where we got
Cam
here.
says he didn't bully me, but I still say to this day he did bully me. He claims he didn't.
Mickey, what can I say? You were that kid.
You know what,
Bruh.
I
don't know-
bully myself.
I don't
honestly.
know. So, like, and
I needed the
I
bullying.
was
honestly
someone.
needed the bullying.
No, you didn't need the bullying. Nobody needs
No,
to be
yes,
bullied.
everybody needs a little bit of bullying in their life.
Everyone should learn to have tough
I
skin.
tend to agree with you, Miggy.
So this is the thing, right? I think everybody should learn to have some tough skin.
Yes.
And the sad part about it is that the majority of the people the way the majority of people learn to get tough skin is by being bullied. That's why you guys say people need to be bullies, because majority of people learn to have tough skin by being bullied. But that's not the way you have to learn to have tough skin.
So how do
How
you
else
build
can you?
somebody's tough skin?
Yeah, I guess.
Checkmate.
You gotta get uncomfortable, bro. You
Checkmate.
gotta get uncomfortable sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I hate, like you just gotta get uncomfortable. Like how else do you get uncomfortable?
But there's two. I feel like
You
there's
gotta
two
get a
ways to go about it.
chip on your shoulder to get better, right? Like otherwise you're not gonna get better. You know what I mean?
But the moment you're gonna get bullied, right? But like depends on how you go about it. I feel like it's a big thing.
Yeah, that too. I mean, again, you don't want to be somebody's 13 reason why, you know.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna post that picture.
What of the school lunch?
Yeah, of the school lunch. If you could pull
We
up.
don't see that, bro. Ugh.
Yeah, dude, I had a really nice dinner earlier. I don't even want to see that right now.
Let's see this fucking flashback to horror.
I think they're pretty, like, it's actually set up pretty
I
well.
don't want to pull it up.
Nah, okay, you can pull it up, brother.
Oops, wrong one.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. So
if you break this down, look how shitty that fucking lunch is compared to every other lunch.
yeah,
Like, everything else looks fucking, I mean...
fire.
I don't know about
Maybe not-
y'all. I don't know about y'all, but that lunch that says U.S. looks better than what I had already. So
Oh, 100%.
That's what I'm trying to say. They're making it look nice. I don't
Yes.
think you're gonna get
no,
this.
No,
But
you don't get that. Your
Yeah.
mashed potatoes don't look like that. Your peas do not look like that. Your chicken nuggets don't even look like that.
like, and I
Your
understand.
your peas have a little bit of ice frosting still on them.
Yes.
When you get them.
Yes, they're still frosted a little bit.
No, I hate.
You
to
gotta to,
I hate
to defrost them.
I hate to say this, but I don't think this is like Ukraine's lunch right now. I'm just saying. It's just probably not a very accurate
What are they? What are they eating?
representation.
What are they eating right now?
I mean,
MREs.
MREs.
but here's the thing. I also understand that the food might not look exactly the same like in the pictures, but I can totally believe
The
them. Like,
best one there, I think, is I don't know, Greece or Spain.
bro, I think either one, Spain, Greece, or Italy, bro.
Yeah,
like, look at that
those are the
shit, bro.
three
Like,
that look
I
good.
mean,
Like,
look
that's what
at
you get at a
Finland,
fucking
too.
restaurant here.
Look at Finland, bro. Like, it's got
See, like,
crepes
literally,
and
like,
shit.
look at the shit you get it from the USA, and then Spain, Italy, and Greece. At least it looks like Applebee's presentation.
Yeah, so that's what I'm
At
saying.
least
Like, something.
minimum. You're getting something. But no, within the fucking... You know, apparently...
The taste.
So I was too
the
young when
taste
it happened.
is more like sometimes maybe good,
Sometimes maybe shit.
Yes, yes. You know, I was too young to really remember, but apparently there was a really big drastic shift in middle school and high school lunches when Obama came into office with Michelle Obama and her initiative.
Did
A lot of people were not hated on her, but like bashed her a little
No,
bit
you can say
with
it.
it.
They hated her.
I guess they hated her
I
because
know
apparently
people who specifically used the word hate against her.
yeah, because apparently they used to have fucking
They used
what's
to
it
have
called?
The snack
in the
machines
yeah,
and
in the
shit.
vending machines they didn't have fucking sugar-free Pop-Tarts. They had like Snickers bars and shit until that bitch came came into office.
And she did
Yo,
she
we're
did the
never
sugar-free
getting an
shit.
interview
Yeah,
with
so-
Obama.
Nah, so apparently so when Michelle Obama apparently wanted to be a first woman that, you know,
Well,
did shit.
I
You
know,
know?
so I've looked into it
She
a
looked
little more.
into
So I've
looked
looked
into
into it
messing
into
with our
more.
lunches.
She
Fuck
came
her.
in and she wanted to combat like the childhood obesity, right? With this, and she
Go fuck with McDonald's, not my lunch.
and she implemented what's called the nudge theory, right? It comes from it's from behavioral economics. Nudge theory is basically when you nudge people towards doing something, they're gonna start developing better habits, as opposed to like completely cutting it off and saying this is how it is. You just kind of like push them in the right direction. Like, that's the best way to say it. And that's where that initiative started of like, oh, look, sugar-free this, sugar-free that, because let's just cut some of that sugar off.
Yeah, and every single freaking piece of bread they give you is wheat.
And that's the whole fucking thing, right? Like, you don't just, like, you can't just give to kids fucking wheat bread at school. And when they get home, they're fucking eating that bread out of the, like, that
From
bread that's
McDonald's
gonna,
or whatever. Yeah.
they'll sit out on a counter for 3 fucking years and not even get mold on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't
Bro.
change that. Like, this
There's
has to be
something,
changed
like,
from the bottom up.
Isn't it crazy about bread that you get certain bread, right? And it's the same when the day you buy it and 2 weeks later. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, the bread's still semi-soft and it's just like the same softness. But when you have really good bread, that the day it's made is fucking amazing, crunchy, perfect, and soft. But then 2 days later, that same bread is
2 days
fucking
later.
hard. Like, crazy hard. And if you leave it for 4 days, moldy as fuck.
Yeah.
Have y'all ever tried putting it in the microwave?
Yeah, it only gets it soft on the outside. The inside still stays stale.
So there's a way to do that. I'm gonna teach you how to do it.
Air
but
fryer.
it's usually by the end of the
Air
night.
fryer?
No. It's still a
Nah,
micro.
you sound crazy. That
It's-
sounds like
okay, okay,
crispy.
Air fryer or oven.
I'll tell you something a little bit.
Let me see your hobbies, Miggy.
Yeah, hold on. My mom loves to air fry everything.
Okay, bread.
Everything.
Okay.
Everything. She'll do bread. She'll heat up food in that bitch. She fucking put in some fries, and I was on a rush, low key, and she was like, "Do you want me to warm these up for you?" And I thought she was just gonna get them and put them in the microwave, and then she opens up the air fryer, and I'm like, no, put it in the microwave. I'm in a rush. You like 20 seconds. That's all it needs.
Bro, air fryer.
But what I'm trying to say is, my mom is obsessed with air frying anything and everything.
I already like that
Calvin
lady
is
because
too.
air fryer literally like makes everything better. You ever had air fried chicken or any kind of meat the next day
I'm not a
and
fan.
tastes like shit when you air fry when
not
you
a
put it in
fan.
the microwave?
So
Anything-
pork
any
is one of
meat,
those
I am
ones
not a
that
fan.
really do that, especially.
Huh?
Any meat on the air fryer, I'm not a fan of.
What?
What?
I just don't like
Bro,
the taste.
I can.
Huh?
You would not know the
I
difference.
do like certain things like fries and stuff like that.
No,
like
no, make it.
plantain.
You're not making
if
it
I
from
just
scratch,
eat,
are you?
even something as basic, as some fucking Dyson nuggies. If I go and to bake them and put them in the air fryer versus the microwave, the air fryer is way better.
Yes.
Crunchier. Oh my god, way
I
better.
will say it's better than the microwave, but I'm not a fan of. I'm not a fan of either microwaved or air fried food, to be honest.
So here's the
No,
thing.
air fryer is fire.
But yes, air fried is better than microwave. I'll say it's
No, it even the oven sometimes. Certain things.
So here's the thing with bread. With bread, you can do it in an oven or the air fryer, but you have to sprinkle it with water. Like
Every
you have
so
to
often?
throw water on it. No. Just a little
once?
bit of water once, and then what it does, because it dries it out, right? Like so that water keeps the moisture back in. But yeah, bro. So here's the thing. The last preservative that was really made was made back in 1980s, like late 80s. Like there hasn't been another preservative that they've made. And there've been like iterations of the same preservative, but nothing like new.
Just
And the
refining
last
the
one
same
is the
thing.
niacin that was made. So like we're living off a 40-year-old technology.
I saw this clip talking about it was a really big football player, American football player, like Peyton Manning or one of these guys, right? Talking about how one of his big things that he doesn't eat is strawberries.
Mhm.
Because if you take a thing of strawberries and put them in some water and like wash them off in that water and leave them in there, and then the next day take out the strawberries, there's so much pesticide concentrated in that water that you could spray it on your plants as pesticide. You could use that water as pesticide.
Jesus.
That's how much is in that strawberry.
Well, everything you eat has got pesticides on it.
But they're saying
nowadays.
specifically strawberries concentrate a lot.
Oh, because they.
I love
soak in probably,
strawberries.
like,
I
pull
love
in-
strawberries so much too. Strawberries are so good. Like mangoes and strawberries, I think probably one of some of my favorite fruit.
Holy
Yeah.
fuck, I hit the jackpot the other day then.
Wow, what'd you get?
Because I made mangoes and strawberries.
Oh yeah, those are my favorite. Like if strawberries, mangoes, really sweet watermelon. Oof, yeah, that's
So
fruits are just the shit.
when I was in
general.
Lithuania, my uncle's wife bought. So like these grandmas will go to the fucking forest and they'll collect raspberries and blackberries and
like actual wild
blueberries,
shit?
wild shit.
That's
and she
different. eh?
Yeah, that's different. And she would buy them because these grandmas are like selling this. They're collected early in the morning and then they sell that shit midday in them little jars. You can buy them. So she bought those and brought them over. Like the flavor is completely different. And if you didn't eat it that day, bro, and that was sitting on a counter, the next day you still kind of like could deal with it, but the day after is done. They're molding and they're going bad.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. So
They're going
that
bad
fruit goes
immediately.
So bad, like really quick, really quick.
Yeah.
Like, even things like, for example, when you even growing shit at your house, you notice that it goes bad a lot faster than the stuff that you get at the store.
Yeah, and if
right?
the bugs don't fuck it up before you like take it, like it's gonna get bad if you don't eat it.
Like I noticed the mangoes this year with the mangoes that came off my tree, just leaving them on the table, which normal mangoes from the store, you leave them there for fucking days, and like 5 days later you go and it's like still brand new. Those you would leave there and they would get wrinkled.
Yeah, right away.
They would start to rot really quickly.
Yeah.
Like, and then another thing, you talk about, like, the fruit in Lithuania. Like, bro, like, it's weird. When you go to certain countries and you eat food, it's just different. And you can tell, like, certain things taste better. Way fucking better.
Yes.
Like, something just as basic as, like, a ham and cheese sandwich in DR, it tastes better than here.
So here's a funny thing, right? So I haven't been eating, like, carbs for a while. And anytime I'll eat bread, like, for whatever reason, my bacteria in my stomach doesn't really process it, right? And it gives me gas and shit, like, right?
Okay.
I don't have like
You
I
get
don't
the
have a
farts?
celiac. Yeah, I get the farts. But the bread there, she was buying this bread. It's like brown bread, right? Like Lithuania is known for having what they call black or brown bread, right? She was buying this bread, bro. I was eating this bread in like huge ass chunks because it was delicious, and I didn't have a single issue with it. And I was listening to this guy, and I don't remember what was it, and they were saying that because of the pesticides and
shit,
them
just died, Miggy.
It's all good.
and them spraying the crops and everything like that, and the way they process the crops, like a lot of people started being gluten intolerant, and that's due to actually they're reacting to the pesticides versus the actual gluten in the bread. So one way for you to get bread is like to make sure that it is basically cold stone milled
Okay.
without pesticides, organic, but like good fucking luck finding that kind of a bread somewhere.
And like we were talking about, that organic ass bread like goes bad so quickly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's gonna go bad super quickly. You know what I mean? So
like I remember for my birthday when we had a big party here on that Saturday, I made burgers, right? And we bought the bread the day they made the burgers, Saturday. Bro, when I went to go look at that bread on Tuesday to make some sandwiches, bro, every single piece of bread had mold on it.
where did you buy the bread from?
From Publix. I was so surprised.
Yeah.
It's like that big, really
Yeah.
soft hamburger bread.
Yeah.
It's just like you just leave it out for too long, and even
it's
if you,
done.
it's done. It's done. It casts, especially if it catches any bit of moisture inside the bag. Even if you close it up with that moisture,
it's done. Yeah, that's done.
I think that's what happened because it was outside. We were making burgers outside. Blah, blah.
Yeah.
Closed it up, brought it in, and it had caught moisture from the humidity outside. And from sitting there those couple of days, it already caught mold that fast. And I mean, every single piece. There's like 15 pieces still left, like fresh pieces of bread, and they're all still soft and nice, but they're all full of mold.
Well, think about it, bro. If you had like kind of like how it is in Lithuania, right? Like you basically can walk to the nearest store if you need bread. Like literally, your kid can walk to the store, buy the bread, and get back home within like 15 to 20 minutes max, and that's walking. Over here, can you walk to Publix? Hell no. By the time you're at Publix, you probably either sweating bullets, you got a heat stroke by now, you know what I mean? Or it's going to take you at the minimum an hour to go back and forth and then carry all that shit back.
So y'all had commodities back in Lithuania, right? Because commodities, yeah.
Like what?
Like more like
What I
amenities,
mean
like
to say
like
is like
amenities,
in
like
Cuba,
showers
for
and stuff like
example,
that.
we had to like. I remember being sent over to a neighbor's house, which was like, I'd say like a block away.
Yeah.
To go grab some ice for like $5.
So in Lithuania,
Like, did you guys have hustlers like that in Lithuania, or?
So in Lithuania, you didn't have to anymore because what happened in Lithuania when we first moved to Lithuania, Lithuania was the very first country to get independence from Russia, right? Like they were the first ones in 1989 to get independence from Russia, and during the first 3 years they kind of struggled because they were part of the port, and Lithuania is dead smack middle of the entire Europe. It's considered dead smack middle of the entire Europe. They even have this commemorative gigantic stone that they consider like the middle of Europe,
The center,
right?
okay.
The center of Europe. Because he has the port, because he has the access to water, they were able to pretty quickly within a couple of years get their shit together, and then they became part of the European Union. Once they became part of the European Union, the European Union started sending a ton of money to them
The trade
to
became even
recoup
crazy,
the
more
fucking
crazy.
entire thing, to change everything. So whoever had the guts and half a brain, they stole some of that money, then used some of that money, they did this, not important. But the point is now over there, you can literally buy whatever the fuck you want. Like little whatever the fuck you want. But even when we lived there at that time, where they were still not part of the European Union, they were still like baking their own bread. They had their own milk products. They had their own like cold cuts and things like that. So that industry was always there, because Lithuanian milk products were always known within the U.S. like all USSR. It's nowhere near to like the actual French cheeses and things like that, but they were known within the USSR as like one of the best ones.
Okay.
So they're able to maintain that, and people were used to eating that kind of food, right? Like, so you were getting that food, and then like the whole agriculture was pretty big. You know what I mean? So
a little bit on the Soviet countries. Ukraine just got a shit ton of help from other countries as well. Sweden just gave them $200 million, and that's their 12th stimulus package, along with extra resources like spare parts needed for emergency situations for their tanks and armored vehicles. The other thing that the U.S. Is giving them was cluster munitions, and Russia's now saying that, hey, we're not going to use cluster munitions, although we have them.
Yeah, okay.
But they've
now
been
I use
already using them in the war, which is crazy.
So
How
this
long you think this thing will last?
it's gonna last for a minute.
Do you guys think
I think it's gonna
end
last
up
for a
maybe
minute.
like the Korean War, where it just stands still?
So this is what's gonna happen. I don't think Russia wanted the total Ukraine. They just wanted that part of the Ukraine, right? Like once they get that part of the Ukraine, they're just gonna control it and separate it off, and it's gonna be that, right? So
It already looks to me like it's a World War III scenario, just due to the fact that Russia's trying to have or develop this relationship with North Korea.
well, they always had the relationship with North
Yeah,
Korea.
but they keep meeting now together, especially in these times of tension. And they're talking about we have we're planning on having, a very tight relationship with North Korea going forward.
Yeah, because China pretty
Militarily,
much
strategically.
came out and said like we condemn the war in Ukraine.
No, they haven't said that. They have not condemned the war in Ukraine. That's
Well,
the thing.
China came out in that whole meeting, the newest meeting that they're pretty much in.
Yeah,
They said
but
like
what
we're
they
not
said was,
we don't agree with this.
correct. They're like, hey, no, we want peace, but they have to resolve their issues, basically. That's
Yeah.
what they said.
Well, the point is this: like a lot of people thought that Russia is strong and they have all these rockets, and then it ended up being that's not true. And then what happened? The
They did
entire
have
world.
rockets. They were just old and rusty, and when they went to take them out, they didn't work.
Well, the entire world,
It's
world
like being a
unloaded.
professional fighter. You're just 80 years old now, and you go and try and do that fucking spinning kick that used to be really nice, but not so
Yeah.
nice anymore.
Yeah, and the entire world unloaded their old equipment and gave it all to fucking Ukraine. So what's gonna happen? They're all unloaded. What they're gonna buy new equipment now? Who are they gonna buy the new equipment from? Us. We're the ones that produces majority of the fucking weapons in the world, majority of the rockets.
Yeah,
They're gonna buy it all from us.
yeah. And
So-
I believe that was one of the deals that encompassed the idea of other countries giving aid to Ukraine was the facilitation and priority of getting weapons from the West.
Yeah, so that was the whole point. It's just the entire West knew that all their artillery of weapons is getting old, and they're like, "This is old technology, and we're fucking storing the shit. We don't want to destroy it. Let's give it all to Ukraine. Let's have them use it all up, and then in the meantime, we'll just buy new equipment." So
And these Russian, or not Russian, but cluster munitions are super, super dangerous, man. They shoot these pellets, and I think the statistic was around, it was a little bit higher than 90%. I don't remember what it was, but I'm just going to say 90% was civilian targets,
So
which happened to be later on in a couple of years when the bombs detonated. And I believe 40% of the casualties were children
the new ammunition.
of the cluster munitions.
Alex is saying Russia needs all the fertile land in Ukraine, but they getting an ass kicking.
Russia needs all the fertile. Yes, I mean that obviously they do, because so do we. The point here is Russia should have never fucking gone to war there. They should have never done that. This is against the rules. You know what I mean? It doesn't fucking matter who does what. Like, you're doing it wrong. Like, that, there's no question of whether we do it or they do it or somebody else does it. Like, that's completely wrong. Do they need that land? Yes, they do, because they're literally going to supply. Like, they understand that natural gas and oil is not going to be sustainable for the years to come, right? Like, that's their 66% of their economy rests on that. So they have to figure out a new way of making money.
The question is, what is it? What would it take for the people to finally just say fuck this and just turn against the government at that point?
Of Russia?
Yes,
So you got to look at the history of Russia, right? Like,
because Putin currently is promoting the war ongoing in Ukraine, the special operation, through like books. He's teaching kids that it's good that this war is going on.
so what Russia has done over the years since World War II, they systematically have eliminated their elite into their basically took their elite, put them into prisons, and sent them to gulags and killed them. So their elites are gone. Right now you have just the people that were able to get some money together by lying, stealing, and cheating, right? And those are the oligarchs that were able to capitalize. and then you have Putin, who's been controlling Russia for the better part of 20 fucking years. You don't have the elite. You don't have anybody to go against him, because one person that tried to go against him, who was Khodorkovsky back in 15, 20 years.
Made a crazy example of.
Crazy example. They fucking locked him up and said he stole so much oil from government of Russia that you could take
and then they
train
sold
and
his,
he could go around the world
and then
2 times.
They sold his assets that were worth, I don't know how many hundreds of millions.
300,000.
For like $250,000, right?
Yep.
300,000.
Yep. That was Khodorkovsky.
We're dropping some frames right now. There's some latency issues on the stream.
So,
Okay. Is it continuing?
I mean, yeah, it's continuing, but just letting you guys know that we are having some latency issues. It's spiking up and down.
What is it? Is it
It's internet.
It's internet?
Yeah.
It's internet. Okay, cool. I'm gonna get off the Wi-Fi, Jay. I don't know what else to tell you. You can try at least taking a couple devices off and see if it helps.
Yep. So is Russia?
It's good right now.
Okay.
Obviously, you're gonna have
something else.
some
That's all.
people that don't agree with him, right? But the majority of Russians, the majority of Russians live in nowhere land, right? Like the majority of Russians still support Putin. Majority of the Russians are there for Putin. Even if the oligarchs don't agree with him, it means nothing for Putin. Absolutely nothing.
It's mind-boggling. Why would anybody take the position of an oligarch? Would you guys take that position? Like,
as an oligarch?
Yeah, knowing that what your government is doing is wrong and the person that's feeding you is doing things that are not right.
Well, this is the bottom line. Like, you're making money, right? Like, so you start making money. Something goes well with you. You start making money. What are you going to do?
Well, before they become oligarchs, they're okay with people doing things that aren't right.
Because you have to understand, for you to make big money, you need to deal with this within the circles that also has that kind of money. Who has that kind of money?
Answer your question a little bit, Mickey, as well. Alex is saying Russia is already having protests, and Putin is losing support because of the war.
Russia's always have had protests against Putin. Have always had, and then there was this guy. His name was Nemtsov. He even created that movie about Putin and his castle and everything. You know what I'm talking about? So there's this guy that was almost poisoned in Germany by Putin because he was going against.
Put it in front of you a little more.
It was going against Putin, right? And he created this movie. It's a documentary.
If you want to slide it out more, it's the other one.
Yeah, it's probably sliding probably will work better. He created this documentary about Putin and his.
I was gonna say give you more so you can move around a little more.
No, it's good. He created this documentary about Putin and him building this gigantic mansion in the middle of like Russian Riviera, which is considered Russian Riviera, like with vineyards and shit like that, golden toilets and this. There were always people that supported this guy. They wanted him to become the new president because it was going against Putin, right?
Yeah. He
came back from Germany. He locked him up, and they sentenced him to prison, to rot in prison.
Putin has had massive propaganda machines, so a lot of population.
Yes, I mean, Putin has had nobody.
My father said the biggest propaganda machine ever.
Yes, no, that's agreeable. But the problem is whether he has the propaganda machine or not, the entire Russian elite is dead. People that have brains, they literally destroyed them. So now you have just these.
Well, did he destroy them or put them in? Well, make an example with what would happen if you go against me, kind of thing, is what he really did, right?
So he did that with the other ones that had a little bit of like proverbial balls, right?
Yeah.
Like he did it with that.
He made an example, so all the other elites just fell in line.
But like when I'm saying like Russian elite, I'm talking about the writers. They're like elite, the ones that create shit in Russia. Like all of these people are destroyed. Russia has one of the biggest. Back in the day, Russia had one of the biggest literature or written anything in the world. Like you have Pushkin, who wrote a bunch of essays and things like that. Then you have Dostoevsky. You have a bunch of these people. War and Peace. That book, War and Peace, is written by a Russian guy. Like their literature section is huge in any of the libraries. You no longer have these people because they're all destroyed. Like not them specifically, but everyone else that came after them was pretty much sent to gulags, sent to destruction by whether it was by Brezhnev, whether it was by Stalin, whether it was by whoever it was after that, right? And then for Putin, he came in and he just kind of like kept going with that. The whole idea of Putin, I don't know, the way he came into power was he carried someone's briefcase, and then he helped Yeltsin escape. Yeltsin was basically an alcoholic that was put in place, and all he did was bro. He would literally, president of Russia would come out and you could 100% tell he's fucking wasted.
Really?
He would
I've
just
heard of
give
this dude, I didn't know
interviews,
that.
and he was wasted, bro. Like he was wasted. You can hear him talking and be like, it was like wasted, bro. He helped him escape because they wanted to kill Yeltsin's family. He helped him escape, and they're like, oh, he's a nice guy. You listen to we put him as a president. They made him as a president. Another thing of him being successful was he there's a conspiracy theory. They're saying he blew up a couple of buildings, blamed Chechens for it, and went to Chechnya and took Chechnya. Yeah, like Putin has done all these things, and like he could have a propaganda machine when the people cannot think for themselves. Like no matter what you tell them, they're gonna agree with.
And
you
the
know,
thing
so
about him is he knows the whole entire system. You know,
he created the system. He's been
he
making
was
the
part of
system for the
KGB,
past 20 years.
Destroyed everything that he knew he could destroy and remade it whatever he wanted.
Well, he's part of the KGB back in the day, but he was not a very strong KGB agent. Like he wasn't one of the ones that are actually like doing shit. He was just out there in Germany because that was one of the easier things to do, and he was part of it, right? Like
What are the temps at, Mickey?
48, 47. We're good.
Oh, great. That's perfect. Just making sure.
Yeah. So with Putin, I mean,
and the drops frames are good and all that.
Yep, we're good there.
like whether it does propaganda or not. Now Chinese and Koreans have propaganda, like they have propaganda. Russians are just not smart enough to fucking disassociate a fucking tyrant from a normal.
When people going to North Korea, how like everything they walk by is all set up, and like most of the people are actors, and like the tours set up on a timing. Like you go to a library, and all these people are there just acting, basically. Like that's what they say.
Oh, I don't know.
Have you never heard about that?
No.
It was in that movie too. The interview. You seen that movie with Seth Rogen and Dave Franco?
You might still be able to find the Vice
James Franco?
documentary on it, where they went to North Korea and they stayed at a hotel and everything.
And then a bunch of shit was staged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were the only people at the restaurant.
Yeah, like a bunch of the stuff there. Apparently, when you go as like,
North Korea.
Yeah, if you get approved to go as a tourist or whatever it may be.
They're like artificially doing.
Yeah,
that
they're like things are artificially set up. Like if you walk by a store that's apparently open, like the bunch of people are in there, and that's all bullshit. That there's like all those are just actors set up for when you go by on that tour. They're there, and then the
When
moment
you're
you're
like the metro, you're not allowed to talk to the other people.
Well, all I can tell you is people in North Korea live, right? Like they gotta get their food from somewhere.
What
They
is
gotta
that?
get their basics from somewhere,
The
right?
one
Like their
girl
toilet
that-
paper and stuff.
the one girl that Andrew Schultz was talking about, she got the heavies or whatever.
Yomi Park.
Yomi Park.
Yomi Park?
You ever heard her
Yeah.
story?
Got the
Yeah. I never heard her story either, actually, to be honest with you.
So
but
she escaped.
Yeah,
she
something
escaped
like that.
Korea basically. She's a pretty big Republican, like huge. She's been on PBD's podcast several times. She's super cute actually.
Yeah, Andrew, and you hear what we said? That's Andrew Schultz talking about she got the heavies.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she does. She does. But the point is
Yeah,
like what I'm trying to
shit.
say, like North Korea, even though it sucks, like but the people have to eat. Like if you listen to Yomi Park, like some of the shit that she says, you're like, what is this even a thing? But yeah, like
That's the stuff they go through.
yeah, like that's like where you like if your family does something, you get pretty much lynched and shit. Like you're.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy the stories you hear.
Did you hear her story about opening up a cockroach just to get the little white piece inside, just to eat that?
What? No, I haven't heard that.
Yeah.
We gotta watch her. We gotta watch some of her content so we can talk about her next
Yeah,
time.
so
That was
but
all on Flagrant. I don't actually watch her content, but that was on Flagrant. I thought that was.
I'll watch Flagrant, and I'll watch probably. I'm sure. I think she's been on Rogan as well. I'll probably look that up.
she's been on Rogan, she's been on PBD.
Right, yeah.
But what I'm trying to say, like in North Korea, they still gotta get food from somewhere. They still gotta get their water from somewhere. Like they still gotta get some sort of transport. They still gotta move around. They don't just sit at their houses, right?
And imagine though how many people suffer every day and don't get it, even though they go out and try. The amount of people that don't probably.
No, that's true. But what I'm trying to say, like that whole acting thing, like I can see there's some truth to it, but I don't think it's at that level that they're saying it is. Because like
from what it seems, I think that this is the thing. I feel like there's too many jokes and
That's it.
There's too many jokes about it and too many true stories to point me in the fact that I think it is
Yeah.
partially true, but then there's some exaggeration there.
yeah, it's just like somewhere in between. Like it's actually somewhere in between. But what I'm trying to say,
I
like,
think that something like the library, them because he said that they went to like something that looked like a library and just went past it, and that they could tell it was off. Like something like that, maybe because they're on like an actual tour.
yeah.
Right? Which, from what I've heard, every time you're there, everything is guided. So they could be setting up everything because it's all the time. You know what I mean?
And I also know that, like, you can tell that the North Korea, like, even the president doesn't have that much money, because I can tell by his watches. Like, they're expensive watches, but they're not.
What is
like,
it?
Putin expensive watches. Like, I think he had like a presidential Rolex or something like that, which is like $40,000, and he wasn't even like the newer one. It was like the one of the smaller ones. You know what I mean? That was like maybe 20.
I mean, who knows? Everybody will wear a presidential.
Because you look at
Just a
Putin, man.
slight
Putin
flex.
is wearing like $200,000, $400,000 watches. Like every interview, like he's big on watches. So
What's that? The one that he's famous
Xi
for? The
Jinping?
FP Journe watch that he's famous for? You know what I'm talking about? The FP Journe
FP Journe.
Putin watch that he's famous for?
Oh, I didn't know that he has one of the FP Journes, but I wouldn't put it past him. FP Journe is considered one of the top boutique watchmakers in the world, which is like, he used to be a grandfather clock maker, and then he
That's
switched.
the one you told me. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he switched to
Bro,
making
Jay,
watches.
I think you've seen it, Miguel. Jay's got the craziest fucking book on watches.
Yeah.
This is like looking through that shit. I recognize like so many, like by looking at it and catching names of brands. Now that I consume watch content, it's nice because I recognize brands.
Yeah.
Actually, like because of that
Now-
one little book.
Like, the more you consume and the more you look in that book, the more that book becomes like,
I want to
oh,
see it
shit.
now.
Yeah, like,
I want to see it now.
yeah.
Since it's been
Then
months.
it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
I
what I mean?
want to look at it now because it's been months since I've been consuming a shit ton of like jewelry and watch
Yeah.
content and stuff like that. I even got into this one guy that does gems and shit like that.
I'm not
But-
super into watches. I'm not there yet.
Bro, you know what
I don't have
watch-
that type of money yet.
You know what watch I freaking like started loving a lot recently? That is more of an attainable watch than something like the AP. I've always the Royal Oak.
Yeah.
The Santos.
Santos, yeah.
Cartier Santos. Oh man. Yeah.
Santos is a good watch. Now, if I can sway you away from Santos, the reason I say is because Santos is a great watch. Like, it sits really well. I've
I like
tried
it
it
a lot,
on.
yeah.
It's nice. The thing is, Santos uses what's called the ETA movement, which is by it. Basically, ETA movement is being used in Tissot's and Omegas use them, and like a bunch of watchmakers make ETA move. Now, if you get the tank, here's the problem with the tank.
I like the
right?
tank a lot as well.
Here's the problem with the tank. For you to get the tank, you have to get LUC tank, like the gold one only.
Why the gold one only? You
'cause
just
that's-
have to, like,
that's-
get that one.
That's the one that's like the original designer of the tank. Like, that's when they made the movement and everything.
Yeah.
That's the one they just recreated, and it's only in gold, and it's only it's only in gold, and it's $16,000, and it's tiny, because that watch was supposed to be small. Now another.
Yeah, the tank is a very small little
is.
square watch.
Yeah, now they
It's
have
like
the
a dre-
bigger
it's
ones.
a small dress watch.
Yes, and now they have the bigger ones, like the bigger size
Yes,
tanks.
they do have bigger tanks now. Yes,
And
they're
those
still
are
not that big though. They're
those
still
are-
like a dress watch.
well, I mean, they're decent size. And
No,
from the
tank,
original
I started
tank,
looking at them. The large tank is still not that big.
I mean, it's not the size of an Apple Watch.
No, of
yeah.
course, yeah, it's a small watch still.
Yeah.
It's still relatively small.
But
it's not
that still
it's not a
uses
freaking
ETA
Santos
movement.
either, right? Like it's not that big.
No, yeah, it is.
No,
Like
no.
the lengthwise, yes, not the widthwise. Widthwise is skinnier, but the lengthwise, it's about that size. As
I
Santos.
don't think it's that big.
Yeah, bro. I'm
Nah, I
telling
don't
you, it
think
is.
so. Okay, I haven't seen
So-
that one then.
It still uses the ETA movement in it.
Yeah.
Like, so, but if you wanted that type of a watch for that same amount of money, Jaeger LeCoultre makes another one, which is like they made
The
it.
fuck you just call me?
Jaeger LeCoultre.
LeCoultre. It makes another one. It's a flip watch. They made it specifically
Oh,
for
I've seen
polo
that.
players.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
and
the
that watch
backside is metal.
metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
So that
nothing.
was made so that don't break the glass.
Uh-huh.
So that watch still has the original movement in it. It's the original design, so it still kept it, and it's the same exact price as Santos or the tank.
Okay. But The Santos will look better though. I know which watch you're talking about because when you flip it, it has the gem on the little tab on the top. Is what
Some of them do, some of them don't.
Right,
Like,
and
it depends.
so I know which one. I've seen the watch you're talking about. I've seen that brand.
No. The one in the gem you're talking about, I think that's the Patek Philippe. This one just
No, I know what
flips.
you're talking about. It flips like this.
Yeah.
Right. There's one that when you flip it on its back, it's a metal plate and there's a small little.
That gem is the Patek
Yeah.
Philippe one.
No. I think. Let me see if I can find it.
That the gem one on the top is the Patek Philippe.
Because the Patek Philippe one, the way the Patek Philippe one
It
flips
goes-
like this.
Yeah, it goes like
It flips
this.
like this.
Yeah.
I know which one you're talking about. I'm telling
Yeah.
you. I've seen one that flips like this. Maybe it's not a gem, but there's a little tab on the top that was colored. Maybe it wasn't a gem.
Anyway,
But that's a cool watch.
Yeah.
I saw that watch.
But,
Like,
if I'm saying, like, if
and
you-
it looks nice too.
Yeah.
It's a nice looking watch.
if you want that kind of, but Santos, I've put the Santos on my hand. It
It's a
literally
badass watch.
fits my
It's
hand
a badass
perfectly.
watch.
Yeah,
The
it is.
It's such a cool watch. That curve
Curved
on
inside,
it.
yeah.
Oh my god,
it's
so
super
cool.
nice. Like, and the links are so beautiful.
Yes, and there's bro. I keep seeing a bunch of people like because apparently a lot of people hate when they put like the sport rubber bands on those watches, but some of them look nice.
Yeah, they
Some
do.
of them look badass, man.
They do.
Some of them look badass.
So the thing is with Cartier is that Santos specifically, bunch of people will get them and ice them out. And if you
Fuck
look
that.
around,
I like that.
if the reason
plain
they're
Santos
doing
so
that,
nice.
the reason they're doing that because from far away it looks like a Patek Philippe.
Really,
From far away it looks because it's all square. So from far away it looks like it could be a Patek that person is
fuck
wearing.
that, no.
You know what I mean?
You
And
know
when
what I
you're in a
really like?
nightclub and with that on your wrist, they can't really like
That-
it's dark. You can't
seen
tell.
the Dumont skeleton.
Yeah.
Santos. Oh my!
That's
And then you
nice.
saw the skeleton emerald one that they
Yeah.
gave to Tristan.
Yeah.
You saw that one?
Yeah.
800K.
Yeah.
Fuck, bro. That was a badass watch.
Yeah, it
yo.
is.
It's a badass watch. It's
Yeah.
flashy with the emeralds and shit.
Yeah.
Like I've seen like the basic Dumont skeleton, you know, like no ice or nothing, and that's really nice. I think that's something I could fuck with. How much do you think that is though? Fucking skeleton Santos.
I think it's a gimmick. Skeleton Santos is more of a gimmick, but it's probably about 30-40K
Damn.
because it's gold. But
No, the one I saw was actually
stainless steel?
I want to know if it was stainless or white gold. Maybe who knows?
White gold.
Maybe,
Yeah, because they wouldn't.
but it wasn't gold. It wasn't gold. It
No?
was- or platinum or who knows? But you know those watches come in.
Yeah.
anything though.
Those
I'm
are
not
the
sure.
special edition.
I know
ones.
like AP and like the Nautilus and what's the brand? The Patek, sorry. Will make watches that are white gold, platinum, and Rolex too. Is Cartier do the same thing? Because I know they make steel, white gold, and gold. But do they have like platinum as well?
I don't think so. I think they might have platinum for special edition.
Okay.
Here, watch that watch, this watch,
Or
that
like,
watch.
because I know like with Cartier, like they do the thing where like you buy so many watches from them, you can request a custom one of one watch kind of thing too, right?
Yes and no. Yes and
Yeah.
no. That's like that's a very iffy question.
Okay.
Some say yes, some say no. So I don't really know what it is. But I'm sure if you spend enough fucking money, you can commission anyone to make a watch. You know
there
what I
you
mean?
go.
If you want a custom watch, go to Jacob and Co. Tell them I'm gonna pay you $40 million. Create a custom watch
Yeah.
for me. Guess what? You're gonna have a custom watch for yourself. You know what I mean?
And the crazy part is if you go to Jacob and Co. and you're willing to wait on whatever it is and pay the money, bro, the watch is worth so much if you want to sell it. Like
Yeah.
you make money.
Yeah.
You 100% make money. Like
I mean, they give you a fucking whole
Like-
diamond watch, like literally
and,
just a
and
diamond
even if,
piece.
like
Here
for
you go.
example, like the most expensive ones we've seen come out lately, like the one we showed off, the Rick Ross one, that's full emeralds, right?
Yeah.
Like that thing is like 2.2
Diamonds,
million, right?
Cannery diamonds, 20.
Oh, 20. But
20
if he goes
million.
to sell it, how much is it more?
Like
Rick Ross's
Because
watch.
it's factory Jacob and Co. It's not like
Yeah.
you're not talking about it's ice. Like when people had that misconception is getting thrown around a lot now. Oh, ice watches aren't really worth. Well, if it's factory fucking
Bro,
set and
that-
everything,
that
and
is-
something like a Jacob and
that's
Co. That's literally
Rick
one of one,
Ross's Jacob
one of
and
one
Co.'s
art
one of
piece.
one.
One of one art piece. There's watches that are similar style, but that's a one of one.
Yeah.
That exact watch. So
What'd you say, Miggy?
That's
Exactly, yeah.
That's Rick Ross's one of one Jacob and Co. watch.
That's 20
Too
million.
much
Yeah,
money.
yeah, the Cannery diamonds. But yeah, like
He's got
the
two of them though. You know that, right?
Yeah.
He's got the white one. That's just a
In
normal like the clear canary diamond. He's got the colored ones too. That's the green emeralds, I think. I'm not sure if they're colored diamonds or emeralds,
Yeah,
but it's green.
but
And
yeah,
then I think Mark Wahlberg has one that's very similar too for his Boston green
Yeah.
thing too. It's,
so Mark Wahlberg's are factory set.
yeah.
And then they have Rolexes that have the multicolored gems around on a bezel. Those are factory set.
Yes,
like
you
they
could
call
get some
the
that are factory, especially like the Daytonas and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, they call them pavo.
Yeah.
Pavo, they call them pavo. Those
The Daytona is very famous. You see that a lot
Daytonas.
with the rainbow
Yeah.
rainbow bezel.
That's factory set. If it's
Yeah,
factory
yeah,
set Daytona, you're looking at $150,000, $200,000.
Yeah.
Even though the watch originally cost probably 60, maybe a 40, maybe 50,
Yeah.
maybe 60. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. I like watches, but not. To
I'm
that
getting
level.
more and more into watches every day. Just watching fucking all the fucking Jews on 47th Street.
Yeah.
they're fucking Mazal.
The Mazal.
Yeah. And I started watching gem shit too, like emeralds and dudes selling that shit. It's make a lot of fucking money from what it seems. And it's crazy how much they gamble with it doing the coin flips.
Yeah.
Bro, like the moment that the negotiations going too back and forth, like fuck it, let's flip for it. You're like where they're at in the middle, kind of, and then okay, 500 this way, 500 that way, let's flip for it, and they don't give a fuck. They're like, let's do it. And it's funny how that I feel like I saw that in it seemed to be a very big thing in that prominent in that 47th Street culture, right? And now I'm seeing it in shoe flipping culture. That I've seen they're doing coin flips there too, like because I follow a lot of like when they do the festivals for flipping shoes and shit like that. They're doing coin flips there too for the.
You ever seen that guy NYC Tracks?
Yeah, he does a lot of fucking crazy shit, giving out gold on the street and shit like that.
You know that he fucking raises it's like 4th generation squirrels in New York, right?
What?
Yeah. So he goes home and he's got like a little squirrels like outside his window. He's got a little nest. And the squirrels been having babies in this for like 4 generations straight.
Oh, but they go out and they're like free, but they just live there.
They just live there, bro. And he like feeds them, and like they know him by, like he's got squirrels, bro. Crazy. Yeah, but he gets always in arguments with other sellers.
Yeah, he gets
dudes.
into like a lot of what you would say little beefs with other content creators that are sellers and like jewelry reviewers. You know, Moses actually has done multiple of those like it's not GQ. It's one of those Genius. I think it's Genius. You know what I'm talking about? That does like the reviews of certain shit. Like they'll have professionals come in and look at people's jewelry or like clothing, like for like crazy shit like Rick Owens. They had Moses come in twice already. I seen they did 2 videos with him. Like reviewing like Drake and Rihanna's and A$AP Rocky's watches and jewelry and shit like that. Bro, the amount of money in that world is fucking insane. And
he's one of the few people that capitalizes on this. There's not a lot of people. There are people that are putting the content out, but
nobody seems to be as big as him, bro. I don't think nobody's as big as
him. Because it's
I think that's it. His personality is for that content, like for people to be attracted to him. Everybody else is still a little too like mellow. He's so out there with his clothing and fucking always wearing his like Louis hat.
And the tag hanging off the side.
Yeah. Like a bunch of jewelry and I love his content. I think it's fucking great. It's taught me a bunch about watches, which is something I've grown to now love. So I've been really wanting to get a Seiko for a while, something that I feel like is actually a good watch for what I can pay, whatever. But we'll see eventually.
If bad times are coming in the economy, we should be able to cup out some of them watches for a half price, baby. Because it
was crazy that I was looking at the markup on what a watch, like for example, they were talking about a Patek that you could have bought for $40,000 before the freaking like 40 to 60 grand for
40 to 60 grand. That's
before I think you were saying COVID and shit like that, and then now that watch is like worth 140.
Yeah, the problem was the same watch that you could buy for 40 to 60 grand before COVID cost $19,000 in 2011, 12, and 13.
Right.
Same watch. It was
but it's crazy
half the actual retail.
But it's crazy how it went from the 15 to like 40, 15 to 25.
Well, 40 is the retail.
Right. Then 40, and then now that watch is worth 140. Right. It's like the markup, and the time is so much shorter than that from 2012, 2010.
Yeah.
Just over COVID, basically.
Yeah, because a lot of people are like buying in. So this is what happened with the watches, right? A lot of people don't realize like these watches are being bought and sold as payment for certain things. So let's say I owe a sheikh or I owe somebody $10 million. I can't transport the 10 fucking $1 million, but I can buy watches that are going to maintain their value give or take, for $10 million. And I can travel there by saying, I'm taking my watches with me.
Yep.
And I just leave the watches there and come back.
I know some people who allegedly just put on a bunch of jewelry to go some places and because they don't have to pay for that. Moving it around.
That's what I'm saying. Because now I owed somebody $10 million. I didn't bring him the cash. I didn't make a money transfer. I didn't even do anything. But what I did, I gave him $10 million worth of watches that they can turn around, either sell or whatever. So these are the people that don't give a shit whether their money is in watches or it's in cash and sitting in a bank account. They consider it investment, right? They can take the same exact fucking watch and give it to someone else. So what became of the watch market is a lot of these high-end watches are being bought specifically for that reason. Not because somebody wants to wear them like Mark Wahlberg. You know what I mean? Like, people that are actually wearing these are very few people that wear these. Like, majority of this is like one dealer is buying it from another dealer and another dealer is buying it from another dealer. And like,
it's just moving hands.
It's just moving hands. That's it. That's why the market is cornered, and that's all you have. But anyway, that's
Ready?
the watch world.
I see my watch journey. It's going to be Seiko. Now I'll give myself a Santos. Then another Grand Seiko, I think, and then we'll move on from there.
Where are you going to go? If you're gonna go Seiko, I say, go Grand Seiko right away.
Just skip the Santos. I know.
Yeah, because Santos
But
is gonna
it's
cost
really
you more than the Grand Seiko.
From what I was looking into, like, cause I wouldn't probably get like the just go into Mayors and go to Grand Seiko. I would get something really nice, probably.
Like what?
I don't know. We'll see. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
an average Seiko is gonna cost you probably $2,000 to $3,000 less than a Santos.
I don't think so. From what it seems, no. The Santos probably costs what, 6-7?
Which one are you talking about? The small one or the big one? Because in reality, you would need to get a big one.
The big one's like 8.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So 8 one is.
Yeah, you're right. Because the Grand Seiko would probably be 5 to 6.
6.5,
right?
5 to 6.
Probably
6.5 max.
Probably 6. In reality, 6.
Yeah, so $2,000 difference.
You're right. Yeah, because you're right. The big one is like 7,700, $8,000.
Yeah. So get yourself a Snowflake, which is like an iconic Seiko.
Yeah.
You get yourself a Snowflake at $5,500, $6,000, and then and then after that you'll forget about the Santos, and then you just worry about
one day.
and then you just worry about the AP after that.
That's a watch I really like. That
because look, here's the thing: like if you're gonna get a watch within like that money range, why would you double up on another watch within the same money range? Like go up. Like at that point, it's like you already have a good one.
You're saying
the Santos.
You're saying
that
the from the GS to the Santos is a big enough jump. Like, come on, go.
Correct.
Big.
Yeah, it's not big enough jump, bro. Like just because that's the whole thing. Like either buy the GS or buy the Santos, and then just keep that until you're there where you can buy the AP next. You know, double the value. You know what I mean? Or go up the Daytona Rolex
I'm sure
or whatever.
I'll have that basic Seiko for a long time. My opinion might change. You know.
Yeah, basic Seiko. Basic Seiko is a really good watch. Yeah, if you stick to like the turtle.
I think I'm. That's exactly what I was gonna say. So I was showing you the
turtle or ninja.
The more circular prospect. That's kind of like the samurai.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I've motioned more towards getting the turtle, like the one that Lennon Arthur got.
Turtle's gonna be a little bit bigger, yeah.
So that same style, but the tropical one that's like that has like that two-tone blue bezel with the black face. That's the one that was eyeing. Or the
diver's watch. Is that what you want to get?
Or the manta ray one. Yeah, one of those.
Diver's watch.
Yeah, I think so.
Because they have other prospects that are not
they're not as sporty divers looking. Right, exactly. Yeah. I think I like those.
Yeah, they get a diver watch. That shit's gonna last you forever and a half, and then. You go from there, and then...
We're about to be at 1:30, boys. You guys want to wrap it up?
Well, he's got a bunch of... You had.
I have one more thing. I was going to pull up.
Okay, I got to meet, bro.
Got you. So, have you guys ever heard of Sixto Rodriguez?
Nope.
Mm-mm.
So, this is an artist that came out with a couple albums in the late, 69, early 70s, right? This guy continued his life after making this music. Working construction apparently and shit.
Wait, are you talking about the one with glasses? Are you talking about Are you talking about Bad Bunny thing?
No.
Okay.
This guy. So, I'm not sure if he has anything to do with Bad Bunny. But this guy made this song and apparently went super big in South Africa. They were even using his music.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
They were even using his music as like unofficially for like the protests against apartheid and stuff like that
Yes.
in South Africa. This guy went huge. Apparently selling more, having more records than some big artists like Michael Jackson or some shit like that. I don't remember exactly what artist, but he was big, man, really big, and didn't know, had no idea. It wasn't until 2012 that he won an Oscar for this song that came out in 1969. I learned about this guy listening to Post Malone and Joe Rogan's podcast the other day, right? Joe Rogan and Post Malone's podcast came out on August 8th, the day after my birthday, right? So on Tuesday. This man passed away on Tuesday. It was so crazy to me that like the day I figured out about him and that the day that they released, not the day I figured out because I watched the podcast a little bit after, but the day they released the podcast talking about this man, shining almost like a little bit more light on him, right? Because Joe Rogan's so fucking big, and having someone like Post Malone on, right? That he dies that day, 81 years old. He's 81, right? Old man, but dies that day. I found that so fucking crazy that like
it is pretty crazy, yeah.
Right? The day they talk about him, really big platform, right? Like I learned about him that day. I looked into him. The song was actually really good.
At least they give him flowers.
I'll play it for you guys after the podcast. It's a good song. It's called Sugar Man by Sixto Rodriguez. If you guys on the pod want to listen to it, it's about drugs and shit like that. But it's an old song from the '60s. Found that so crazy.
Talking about the songs, did you see the bunch of reggaeton artists are getting sued?
Why?
Because they're saying that they've used the beat, the old school beat that was created by actual reggae musicians, is the backbone of all of reggaeton music.
Okay.
And they're all being sued. Like hundreds of people are being sued. Daddy Yankee, Bad Bunny, all of these guys, Karol
Who's
G,
suing them?
the guys that created the beat, the original reggae beat.
Okay.
So they're the ones that are suing these guys, and they're in the class action trying to, and they're like, well, it's reggaeton. I mean, like, but basically the backbone of the reggaeton music, they're saying, is our beat that we created that you guys been using without our knowledge.
I don't know. I'm a little iffy on that because I understand when things are patented, a certain beat or a certain hook or whatever it is patented and copyrighted under your name. I get it. But at the same time, music is constantly influencing newer music.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
because if you take like even that
just
song Suavemente, the guy with the glasses,
yeah.
he's singing the Suavemente. Bad Bunny just came out with a similar.
Well, he did it to as an homage,
Yeah,
purposely and everything, because that's like the biggest song apparently to ever come out of Puerto Rico, right? So,
yeah,
like worldwide, that's why.
But when I was listening to him, he's like, "What the fuck? He's just copying me." Like he didn't know about that.
I don't know if you would say copying, man. Of course, there's influence there. Like, look at the freaking name, reggaeton.
You want to know something crazy? That Despacito, or not Despacito, Suavemente song, he does not own any of the royalties to the song.
Huh?
He does not own any royalties to that song. Like, he doesn't get any.
Damn, so the guy that made that song, he doesn't have any royalties.
He's not making any money.
He doesn't make any money. He made his initial whatever from that deal, and that's it.
Yeah, because see,
And
this is
imagine that song went so fucking big. Oof.
this is the thing with a lot of artists saying, "Oh well, like we're not getting paid enough. The music industry sucks." Blah blah blah. Try to fucking doing that back in the day when you weren't getting paid shit. Back in the day,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Alex said your pants are reflecting on your hands, making it look like you got Cheeto fingers.
I do. I've been eating Cheetos.
Oh,
I've been eating Cheetos.
All right, I think that's a good place so we can wrap it up, guys. Thank you everyone who came in. Alex, my dad, Natalie, I think was in the chat. Arthur, appreciate you guys coming in. Y'all have a good night.
Goose night.